9 months ago, we made a video exposing Ultimate Joker for the racist, bigoted piece of shit that he was, and 9 months ago, me, SK, and Ultimate Joker and a few others had a live stream where we thought that the drama was going to be over, and yet here we are 9 months later, making another video basically going over and reinforcing all of the things that we accused him of back in the day. What you will see in this video is undeniable proof that Ultimate Joker had no intentions of ever moving past this drama. You will also see evidence of him being a liar, a hypocrite, a racist, a homophobic piece of shit, a transphobic piece of shit, and possibly the most worrying of all, defending child pornographical material, and those who support and consume it. Let's get started. Whilst there were subtle signs over the months of Ultimate Joker going back on his word, the biggest catalyst for this drama was in this video here, where he exposes James Gunn for being a quote-unquote pedophile, and he also quote-unquote exposes his defenders, which he lumps me, SK, and a few of my friends in with. His points are all over the place in this video, however the 4 main things he accuses James Gunn of is making offensive, borderline pedophilic tweets, hosting what he dubs as pedophile parties, sexualizing underage superheroes, and making potentially racist comments towards the people of India. I will break down these points one by one and prove that Ultimate Joker is unable to take a moral standard, as he himself is guilty of all 4 of these things. The first one we're going to go over is the offensive pedophilic tweets. Roll the clip.
With him originally being fired by Marvel due to tweets about his vile behavior, such as pedophilia tweets.
I already went over in my livestream how I felt about these tweets, and to summarize, yeah, I agree they're completely inappropriate. They're in bad taste at best and downright pedophilic at worst. I make no defenses for these. Whilst James Gunn has come forward and publicly apologized and expressed regret for these actions, that doesn't defend the actions themselves. They were inappropriate no matter which way you look at it. And it's for those reasons why I myself do not make these comments in public. Can you say the same thing, Ultimate Joker? Remember the time when you said that Insomniac Spider-Man fans deserve to be anally raped? Do you remember as well when me and SK were planning on doing a live stream responding to you, and Rezakin typed "must stream down your face R. Kelly style," basically making a child sexual assault joke right to our faces, even though we are not friends and he doesn't know us? Don't even get me started on your many community posts where you are openly advocating for trans community being kept out of superhero games and films, and you compare being gay to smoking. But don't you worry, we'll be looking at the community posts later on. All of them. The next point to go over is where Ultimate Joker and Rezakin take a interview with James Gunn out of context, where he is responding to criticism on not just the Superman movie, but also his work in general. Let's see what they have to say.
Even the co-creator of Deadpool roasted it. So what does Gunn do when faced with criticism? What he replied to that interviewer was that the image he sees in his head when he sees such criticisms are that of Indians.
Yeah, you're straight up lying because that's not what he said. Here's what he actually said.
You know, I mean, obviously I relate to that. I do tune out most of social media, but every once in a while there'll be somebody who will say something. It's always the weirdest stuff. It's never what you expect. Some weird thing that I go, God, that guy, I'm gonna, and then I go, I think I might be getting upset about something a 12-year-old in India is saying. You know what I mean? I'm like, let it go.
Gunn isn't saying that his critics are from India. He's saying that in an isolated instance, he might just be getting mad at a 12-year-old from India. The purpose of highlighting the age is that who he's getting mad at isn't fully mature anyway, so it's not worth getting mad over. And likewise, highlighting that they're from India demonstrates the disconnect between the two. This person is so distant from his life that they're located in a country far away from him. So the logic here is that this person is so disconnected from him and his life that it's not worth getting so annoyed by this person, especially if they're a kid. So where did you get the rating that he's saying Indians are bad and are the only people criticizing him? It sounds to me like you wanted to draw the worst meaning possible because, well, you don't like this guy. This argument is so pathetic that even a 12-year-old from Canada who watches Mr. NoobTube Gamer could dismantle it.
I have nothing to offer, as SK summed it up perfectly himself. Ultimate Joker and Rezakin blatantly lied and took this interview out of context and took the worst possible implications from what James Gunn was actually saying. Man, what morally upstanding citizens. You know, I know that they're bending the truth and they're openly admitting to being biased, but you know, they want the best for us, guys. They're wanting to expose that James Gunn is a rampant racist and says unhinged things about Indians. It sure would be a shame if Ultimate Joker was to, oh, I don't know, say something even worse about Indians. That wouldn't happen, right?
The most illogical form of racism ever, only being rivaled by Indians making fun of black people for stealing, as if they don't have an official job stealing from people via multiple scam centers.
The jokes write themselves. The next segment is a doozy as we go over how Ultimate Joker and Rezakin really hate the idea of James Gunn sexualizing superheroes, or fictional characters in general for that matter, that are underaged or minors. Let's get started.
And Gunn has that type of dirt on him too, since he has a list of top DC women he wants to bang, which includes heroes generally portrayed as teenagers from the team called the Teen Titans, such as Starfire and Raven.
This is straight up dishonest, since Raven in the Teen Titans show is explicitly mentioned to be 18 years old. And as for Starfire, her age is a little more tricky to work out. However, she should be between 18 and 23, based on statements within the show. Keep in mind that this is under the worst case scenario, since obviously there are pretty well-known instances of these characters being aged up to the point where they are in their 20s. Take Starfire from the DC animated movie universe. Or in the comics, where Starfire has a healthy relationship with Dick Grayson, even though he's Nightwing at the time, meaning that he threw away the Robin mantle ages ago and he is very well in his 20s. And if your immediate response to this is, well, he could be referring to the underage version, therefore you can't defend him, well, holy moly, I hope you keep that same energy when we go over the following exhibits. Here we have Ultimate Joker using a sexualized image of Ahsoka from Star Wars, even though she was 14 at the beginning of the Clone Wars era and 17 at the end. What's that? Ultimate Joker gets a pass because he might have been referring to the adult version of Ahsoka? Well, the same logic applies to James Gunn. Here we have Ultimate Joker using a sexualized image of Gwen Stacy, aka Spider-Gwen, even though she is 15 years old, especially in the first Spider-Verse film. Here we see Ultimate Joker doing the exact same thing for Velma in Scooby-Doo, even though she is 15 years old and every character in that show is a minor. Here we have Ultimate Joker making a YouTube thumbnail out of sexualized artwork of Batgirl. But wait, it's okay, right? Because she was in her 20s in the Gotham Knights game. Wrong, actually. She was 16 years old in the Batman animated series, therefore it's automatically pedophilia. Do you see why that's so stupid? You don't even know which version of the characters that James Gunn was referring to, yet you're automatically gonna dub him as a pedophile anyways. Which is hilarious because you yourself have drawn sexualized characters of minors. You use them for YouTube thumbnails, for fuck's sakes. Strange, I thought you said in a livestream with me and SK and a few other people that you acknowledge that it's very weird behavior that you don't stand by.
As that crap had no real world consequence, despite Rezakin and I not being in favor of that behavior and honestly finding it weird.
You're not okay with this behavior, yet you're perfectly okay normalizing it and using it for your YouTube thumbnails. I want to make it clear now, normalizing sexual content involving children is never okay, and it sure would be a shame if there was an entire rabbit hole of Ultimate Joker defending this kind of behavior and those who consume it. It sure would be a shame. The final thing we need to talk about regarding his comments towards James Gunn is the hosting pedophile party allegations, because honestly, this one is a rabbit hole that we are going to go down, and it's gonna be fun.
Having attended one of James Gunn's infamous parties. Party? What is that? Something P. Diddy might have hosted? Actually, no. And you might be surprised hearing this in connection with someone who wasn't Donald Trump's best friend or P. Diddy, but James Gunn was hosting parties before it was cool. As you can see in these images, Gunn hosted a To Catch a Predator themed party where he and his friends, one of those friends being Jimmy Urine, dressed up as pedophiles and their abuse victims. Hilarious. And what an interesting coincidence that one of those attendees turned out to be an actual pedophile. profile.
Just to make it clear once again, I am not defending this. I think that this is bad taste and very offensive. James Gunn should not have done this. There is a reason why I do not allow pedophiles or anything like this in my Discord server. However, it's a little ironic that you are gonna try grill James Gunn for hosting parties with pedophiles when you yourself have basically done the exact same thing with your Discord server. I'll let Rift from 9 months ago take the wheel. Arachnid Youth is a YouTuber who has defended child pornography on multiple accounts, saying that it is acceptable to masturbate to sexual depictions of a child because it is not a quote-unquote real child. This obviously isn't the case because in US law, child pornographical material is any visual depiction of a minor engaging in sexually explicit activity. In the Federal Criminal Code of the United States, child pornography is partly defined as any photograph, film, video, picture, or computer-generated imagery, and as a result, yes, if you are masturbating to a child character in a fictional setting, or in an anime, or a TV show, or whatever, you are attracted to children, and by definition, you are a pedophile, or at the very least, you have strong pedophilic tendencies. The first video made on Arachnid Youth was by Comic Legend, or League Entertainment, where he basically made an entire fucking timeline that was 4 hours long from the moment that him and SK met Arachnid Youth to the moment that they blocked all communications with him. The video is split into multiple sections, including multiple debates with Arachnid Youth over his pedophilic behavior and the idea of him defending child pornographical material, saying that it isn't illegal or it isn't pedophilic, just very weird. The next video was made by SK, which as far as I'm aware at least, is a final debate between SK, Comic Legend, and Arachnid Youth, where Arachnid Youth doubled down on his insane takes, saying that yes, masturbating to female characters that are cartoons isn't child porn, even though by definition it clearly is. The final video I'm going to talk about was made by Colin, where Arachnid Youth made a follow-up video basically defending himself and doubling down on his takes once again, with Colin going through and debunking and or exposing all of his batshit crazy takes, and his many attempts to defend child porn. The reason why this is relevant is because Arachnid Youth joined Ultimate Joker's Discord server, and SK later joined with the intention of making Ultimate Joker aware of Arachnid Youth's tendencies to defend child pornographical material.
Myself, Gaming Rift, High CHD, or Colin defending James Gunn's actions that, from what I can tell, he apologized for years ago. You know you're cooked when you're making Colin look good in the situation, because despite my issues with him, he did not defend James Gunn, and I know you're including him here because he helped us expose Arachnid Youth, someone who explicitly stated and showed that he made a drawing that explicitly depicted Gwen from Into the Spider-Verse, who is 15 in the movie.
Why would you even want a guy like this on your team? What am I missing?
Oh, and don't worry, I came prepared this time. Enjoy this very short montage of Arachnid Youth making himself look like the most disgusting individual possible. I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, I could have done that. But ultimately, what made me just do that is ultimately I wanted to be around you guys, and I felt like if I acted like I had those opinions, I wouldn't be able to do that.
And why do you?
So you thought it was a good idea to have a friendship based on a lie for like at least 2 years?
Yeah, that's the worst, not the best idea, but
Why would you even want a guy like this on your team? What am I missing?
You didn't watch the video? I remember your lying little butt buddy friend came on my channel and said, well, I saw 2 hours of this video and it's lies. You keep calling him a pedophile. Da, 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 da. And if you watch the video 2 hours, if you go to the 2 hour mark, that's the portion of the video where I'm defending you from Nirvana, which means that you or your fan base is lying about my video. What the fuck is that about?
Why would you even want a guy like this on your team? What am I missing?
Shut up. Do you know what CGI is?
yeah, CGI is realistic.
What is it? What does it stand
Realistic.
for? No. What does it stand for?
Computer-generated images, which
Right.
is supposed to be realistic.
Is Mayday Parker a computer-generated image in Spider-Verse, or Penny Parker? Those
No,
are made
'cause
with.
she's not-
Yes, it is. Those were made in computer models.
Why would you even want a guy like this on your team? What am I missing?
But she is not CGI like realistic.
Computer-generated images.
Look at the highlighted part that I just
Computer-generated
pointed out.
images.
But that doesn't apply to
Computer-generated
cartoon
images.
characters. That does not apply to cartoon
Computer-generated
characters.
images. Why is this not going through your head?
Why would you even want a guy like this on your team? What am I missing?
We all would agree that's a fucking child, and if you're jerking off to it, you're jerking off to a fucking child. Like it's as simple as that. It's so fucking insane how you have to go through these insane loopholes.
You know it's not that.
No,
simple.
it is.
No,
That's
you're
simple.
making it overly complicated because of
How
some
is it
disgusting ass
overly
reason.
complicated? It
Because
is,
you are
no,
trying.
It is
You are
way more
because you
simple
are.
than
You are
Does it look
trying
like a
to-
child? If
you
you're
are
jerking
trying-
off to it, is that
Exactly.
pedophilic? Yes,
Exactly.
there
It
you
could be a
go.
baby.
That's
It
how
could be
it
a
should.
cartoon baby.
Why would you even want a guy like this on your team? What am I missing?
And I'm gonna ask you a series of yes or no questions, and you better answer them as a yes or no. In Spider-Verse, is Mayday a child?
Yeah, she's a baby.
Was she created on a computer?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say there's a creep out there that creates a sexual depiction of her, and
Jesus.
someone gets off to that. Is the person who gets off to that a pedophile?
I don't believe they're a pedophile. I just feel
Why?
believe they're fucking.
Why? Why?
Because Mayday doesn't exist. I will.
Would
just
you at
believe
least-
they're
would you-
actually weird.
What?
Would you at least believe that they have pedophilic tendencies? That's a tendency that they're jerking off to something they know as a child.
What would make me believe that if they actually have these attractions towards an actual child?
You are a stupid.
Conclusion, because once again, it is a cartoon character. That's like saying if somebody
A
plays
cartoon
Minecraft,
character that is a child,
might.
that they know
Pull
is a
up,
child, that
comic
we
clip
know
and,
that we know that he knows is a child, and he's jerking off to it. Meaning, in his head, he's jerking off to a child. That's a child. It's not. We're giving you examples without room for interpretation. Mayday's blatantly a fucking baby. If you can't confuse that. At the very least, like when you were using your Jenny example, at the very least I could go, maybe he was stupid enough to think she was aged up. Because, like, you know, that the development of the body of a teenager to an adult, it's a little bit more gray than an obvious baby.
Why would you even want a guy like this on your team? What am I missing?
Okay, what does this fucking say? This article, I just want to preface, so this article opens with saying, this article is more than 12 years old. I wonder why that's there. Anyway, a report failed to show that people who read cartoons depicting child porn actually abuse children. This is 12 years old. They preface with saying that it's potentially outdated.
I mean, once again, SK, there was a study proving that gay people were stupid. I guess that's true now, even though that was outdated.
Why would you even want a guy like this on your team? What am I missing?
I'm kind of curious.
Because I don't trust you. What is it?
Oh my god. This is so gross.
Yeah, I assume
I'm not
such.
checking that out.
Alright, what is it? RSK. Tell us what it is.
It's a Google Drive link with my sources.
So you're telling me you have a Google Drive link to defend fucking cartoon children like jerking off to that?
Oh
you have a fucking Google Drive link over this.
RSK,
that doesn't seem fucking off to you?
That is insane. You had prep time. You made contingencies to defend pedo shit.
Contingency? What are you talking about, dude?
Right there,
Tower of baby porn. Tower of baby porn.
You made a folder to defend the most vital shit.
Why would you even want a guy like this on your team? What am I missing?
Don't worry guys, literally everything I just showed you was from one video. We're not done yet.
Oh, for fuck's sake, I already know exactly what that is. It's an intro to a video I did for a figure review. I was supposed to be a joke. For fuck's sake. When will these people shut the fuck up? My god.
Well, I'm asking, like, why is it in there in the first place?
Because I couldn't think of anything interesting to do for the intro, and that's the only thing I could
So
think
you
of.
show art that is from a minor?
Yeah, that's not good enough. Like, I feel like I'd understand it more if you were genuinely like ignorant. So I don't know.
Why is this still on your fucking Instagram? Please explain this to me. Why do you still have this shit like in your internet history?
Hold on. I think wait, you're jumping. I think you're jumping actually. I need to come back to the motivation of it. There was nothing else interesting. So for a toy review, you can't just like show the toy.
Well, yeah, if you watch the whole thing through, it zooms out, then it cuts to me with the figure. That was more used as an eye catcher than anything.
But why do you use that of all things? I'm confused.
And go.
What?
It's what?
Now, please do not tell me that was the thing I could think of at the time.
Well, no. That's
Please
not
don't tell me somebody's actually trying to use it as a accusation against me.
I said no. It's not, but it's still being asked about. So I'm asking, like, why was that used in the first place?
There's the one thing I could, one thing I can fucking think of. I don't know what to tell you.
An underage.
I think we need to.
Your first thought was
We need to change.
Why would you even want a guy like this on your team? What am I missing?
The answer is just not satisfying.
Let's just let's do this. Let's do this, Arachnid. I just want. And granted, this is something in your past, and like me saying this is gonna let you go back in time and change what you did. I just want you to understand this shit. You post a video, or your intro is this fucking video of a fucking, like, a child doing this, like, sexual type pose. Then the video cuts to you holding the figure in your hand. Are you not picking up, like, how bad that is?
Well, it's...
Why would you even want a guy like this on your team? What am I missing?
You know you're cooked when you're making Colin look good in the situation.
And all of these things are again in Liam's video that he posted on League Entertainment, but the way you sound so hellbent on defending these things makes me think there's something personal in it for you. It doesn't appear like you're defending some other creep, it seems like you're defending your own weird kinks. And while I don't have any actual evidence that you 100% got off to this kind of stuff, I think that given the two examples of you aging up child characters and making up sexual scenarios and implications out of them, the fact that you used a sexual pose of another childlike character as an intro to a goddamn toy review, the fact that one of your close friends is just so okay with sending sexualized images of child characters, and he's in your private NSFW server where you share corn with each other, and the fact that you're a self-admitted corn addict, and a lot of people that are attracted to lolicon are also corn addicts, that doesn't give me much hope that you yourself aren't attracted to or consume these kinds of things.
Why would you even want a guy like this on your team? What am I missing?
So again, it was the only interesting thing I could think of to do for an intro, and it was just one and done.
The only one
interesting you could think of for an intro is Horn of a Minor.
Why would you even want a guy like this on your team? What am I missing?
Yeah, because nobody fucking complained. Nobody told me, "Hey, this is bad." I'm like, because nobody said anything.
Wait, hold up.
They shouldn't have to tell you. It's a 16-year-old. Holy Jesus! What is that? What the fuck is that?
The reason why this is relevant is because Arachnid Youth joined Ultimate Joker's Discord server, and SK later joined with the intention of making Ultimate Joker aware of Arachnid Youth's tendencies to defend child pornographical material. In this screenshot, SK says, Arachnid Youth is a YouTuber who defends cartoon depictions of children in sexual manners on the basis of it being fiction, as well as getting off to that. The above videos prove it. The videos that SK is referring to are the free videos that I have mentioned already in this video. Keep in mind that Ultimate Joker is the owner of his Discord server, and as a result, if someone in his server has this severe allegations against them, he should have the due diligence as a person and a good human being to at the very least hear these arguments out. But what did Ultimate Joker respond to these allegations with, you ask? I do not give a fuck about drawings. He has a legal of age girlfriend. Breaking this down one by one, saying that you do not give a fuck about childish drawings that are made in sexual manners is completely telling of you as a person, especially since, once again, the legal definition of child pornographical material in the US is any depictions of a child, whether it's a video, an image, or CGI. As a result of this, the fact that you are willing to defend Arachnid Youth, saying that you do not give a fuck about drawings, suggests that you are ignorant at best, or you defend this fucking material at worst. The second comment you make is completely irrelevant, as you can be a pedophile or a predator even if you have a girlfriend. I mean, take a look at Dr. Disrespect. He was a married man, yet still had screenshots proving that he sexted minors. This is such a flimsy fucking excuse and is very telling of you as a person. SK then responds and says, so you're okay with people jerking it off to babies as long as they're drawings? Got it. Ultimate Joker responds with, I'm not watching hours of your 1 to 4 hour witch hunt essays on someone that doesn't have any legal case against him. So let me get this straight. This person joins your Discord server with allegations against Arachnid Youth, a member of your Discord server, and presents many videos defending these allegations and offering proof to support the validity of said accusations. And your immediate response is to say, nah fam, I ain't gonna watch any of those. They're just witch hunt essays against someone. Friendly reminder that these specific allegations could very well make this person a danger to not only yourself but anyone in your Discord server, especially if it's a public server that has access to minors. As a result, it is extremely disgusting that you don't at the very least humor these allegations, or at the very least listen to the evidence and making your own mind up. You just dismiss the evidence straight away, which is very telling of you as an individual. Ultimate Joker follows this up with, I highly doubt he's doing any weird baby shit like your image. Which, again, how the fuck would you know whether he does or doesn't do this in his spare time, since you yourself refuse to watch the videos that proves that he does do those things? SK follows it up by saying, it proves he defends jerking off to kids in cartoons, examples being Penny Parker and Mayday Parker from the Spider-Verse movies. He claims it's just fiction and therefore not pedophilic. Keep in mind that child pornographical material does include fictional things, and if you are masturbating to a fictional image of a child, then by extension that would imply that you are attracted to kids, and by extension to that, you have pedophilic intentions or you are a pedophile. Ultimate Joker finishes it up by saying, I'm busy playing an actual game without mechanics that play themselves. So not only is he giving a subtle dig to the Insomniac Spider-Man games, since he really doesn't like them, but he's also willing to prioritize playing a fucking video game over listening to allegations of someone being a pedophile in his own Discord server. If that doesn't tell you about this guy and this guy's priorities, then I don't know what will. Leave my server alone and make another response video, you fuck ugly cuck. I don't give a fuck. So not only do we have an insult worthy of a 5-year-old, but he also doubles down saying he doesn't give a fuck if someone in his server has pedophilic accusations against them. He's instantly willing to dismiss it without looking at any of the evidence presented. The only conclusion to this is that Ultimate Joker is either a fucking idiot at best, or he defends pedophiles at worst. You guys be the judge. Keep in mind that all of this happened in January, before the debate, but as you can clearly see in the livestream where we tried sorting things, Ultimate Joker remains very consistent with these viewpoints, as SK outlines.
That he stated within this video. If you remember what I said near the start of the video on cancel culture, these Spidey YouTubers instead went after us over some person in our Discord server who made non-safe for work content of animated characters outside of our server and tried to claim we defended it when in reality we just didn't care.
Ooh, that is a swift lie by omission. You claimed that these were just characters, and, assuming they were of age, that would be very silly of us to do. There's just one small problem. Gwen is 15 years old in Into the Spider-Verse, and you were there when I told you this.
Well, I wouldn't really agree with that if a canonical age is like known to be like a minor.
And he very specifically did that version.
It makes it even worse as well if it's specifically referenced as being Into the Spider-Verse, since she's even younger than in Across. Like in Across, I'm fairly certain she's like 16, 17, but in like Into the Spider-Verse, she's specifically 15, which makes it even worse that it's specifically that version.
Okay, last thing.
Also, there was other characters that I can mention. There's also other characters I can mention. There's like one of them who's like, what is it, Jenny the Teenage Robot? Which is like another one.
Are we talking about a fucking robot?
I don't know if you paid attention. We just mentioned Into the Spider-Verse, if you listen.
Yeah, you know, I know, but...
Notice how he glossed over the teenage part and immediately defended it, saying, well, am I listening to a robot? Yeah, we're talking about Jenny from My Life as a Teenage Robot. Something that you tried pointing out that James Gunn does earlier with Starfire and Raven. But wait, there's more.
I've had no real-world consequence, despite Resikin and I not being in favor of that behavior and honestly finding it weird.
Yeah, but I ran through a series of questions for you to answer, so by saying this, you're implying that you don't care to keep someone around who has an attraction to children.
I do have one final question. So, let's say if
$300 million. Oh, sorry.
If you were to either create or get off to art that depicts a child in a sexual manner, do you think this indicates an attraction to underage children?
Wait, what?
If you create art, let me ask it again. If you create art or you get off to children that are in drawings or whatever, that are clearly underage, right? So would you say that if you're into that kind of stuff, even if it is fictional, does this say something about if you're attracted to children?
Yeah, it's rather odd behavior, but as I said, I would not put that in the same tier as what Pebble explained, but yeah, odd behavior that I do not approve
Okay,
of.
And I can add on to that.
I will end this off by saying, and Jack can say whatever he wants afterwards. I'm going to end off those series of questions and say, Arachnid Youth, he definitely defended that kind of stuff, and he also engages in it, so I would say he falls under that category. Jack,
He's also willing to lie about it, which is
that's
indicating
true.
like what he thinks.
We did prove he has a history of lying.
So why then, you may be asking, has Ultimate Joker still allowed this person to be in his Discord server? There is ample evidence of him defending, consuming, and normalizing this sort of illegal pornographical material. And Ultimate Joker said in a live stream that it is gross, weird material that he doesn't stand by. So why are you letting this person in on your Discord server? The excuse that you give later on in your video is that the stuff that Arachnid Youth is being accused of is nowhere near as damaging as what James Gunn has done. But again, why is one getting a pass and the other isn't? It's still weird, gross behavior that you conceded to, so why are you having it around, unless you yourself also take part in it, or you defend it, or you normalize it? And I don't think any of this is very far-fetched when we take a look at Ultimate Joker's YouTube thumbnails, since he is all too happy to sexualize characters, regardless of whether they're minors or not, despite the fact that it is explicitly stated to be against YouTube's terms of service. What James Gunn did was bad, and we are all in agreement here. However, you of all people should not be calling James Gunn out when the stuff that you have done is way worse. And you have apologized for literally none of it. Now we get to go over the community posts that Ultimate Joker has made since and before the original video, because honestly this gives you an insight as to who this person truly is. And once again, unlike James Gunn, he has made no attempt to apologize for any of this. Here is Ultimate Joker 2 weeks ago responding to me in SK's video where we debunked his take on James Gunn's Superman. He also straight up lies about my interactions with Katana fans. Yes, we didn't see eye to eye at first, especially since Katana fans was originally a friend of Ultimate Joker. However, we had a chat, we came to a conclusion, and we are now on speaking terms. Crazy concept, I know, the idea that we can grow and mature as people. Here is a community post of Ultimate Joker talking shit about Colin, and once again defending Arachnid Youth, claiming that people are just mislabeling people as pedophiles. I'm honestly not surprised that this is your viewpoint, given literally everything that we've already gone over. Here is Ultimate Joker once again defending Arachnid Youth and straight up slandering me. He claims that I have pedophiles in my Discord server, which is not true. One of us, however, does actively allow people to join his Discord server who draws child pornographical material, and guess what? That ain't me. Here is Ultimate Joker saying that the fans and developers of the Insomniac Spider-Man games deserve to be anally raped, which is exactly what he was accusing James Gunn of. Funny how you can't keep that same energy for things that you say and do online. And this one here is the most damning one. Not only does Ultimate Joker admit to breaking YouTube's terms of service, however, in the bottom paragraph, they openly compare smoking to homosexuality, claiming that it is a bad, addicting habit that has a detrimental effect on the people who practice it. They also imply that only adults can be homosexual, since they seem very adamant about preventing it from being enforced upon children. Guess what, champ? Homosexuality isn't pornographical, which probably explains why you're so against it. You guys can call me and SK unemployed all you like, but after looking at this community post, you guys are not beating the homophobic allegations. We're gonna spend the final part of the video responding to Ultimate Joker and Rezakin's criticism of not just myself, but also my friends. However, before we do, I want to show a final clip outlining what my friends think about Arachnid Youth.
Just to end it off, how do you feel about him now?
He is a backstabbing, lying sack of garbage. And Arachnid, if you're watching this, man, you heard us, bro. You know, man, we put our faith in you. We kept giving you chance after chance. You kept coming to us for things that, you know, we genuinely thought we could help you out with. And you want to backstab us, man. So you're not welcome back anywhere, man. And it hurts to say that because you were a really cool dude. But at the end of the day, man, you chose to, you chose to reprimand us and act like we're terminally online and act like basically like we abandoned you when we wanted to help you the best way we thought we knew how. And it's fine that you don't listen. That's completely fine. You want to listen to us. But at the end of the day, actions do have consequences. So I wish the best for you out there. I really hope you get the help you need. But just know that you're not welcome around me or my friends ever again.
How do I feel about him? I think he needs to get off, like, the internet, in terms of communities and stuff. I think he absolutely has to leave Discord, Twitter, YouTube, all of that stuff. I don't think he should be involving himself into any communities. What I think needs to happen is he gets some kind of professional help. And once he goes through those stages of much needed development for himself, once the professionals are sure that, you know, there's nothing really immensely psychologically wrong with him, he's made the improvements he's needed to make. At that point, I think it would be appropriate for him to come back to online communities and stuff like that. But for the time being, absolutely not. He shouldn't be around them at all. I think it's absolutely sickening that he is sticking around trying to deflect, continuously defend himself on the indefensible, even on things that he conceded was wrong. So that's extra frustrating to see. And yeah, I just think overall he's a liar. He hasn't been truthful. And I think in terms of whether or not people want to say he's a creep, people want to say he's a pedo, I think it's probably true. It's probably true with the ways that he defended himself, the ways that he tried to explain himself, and the ways he lied about the whole lolly thing and whatnot. I think, yeah, there is credence to the allegations now that we have with the information we have now.
And stop doing this sappy sob story bullshit. You put this onto yourself by being unwilling to change. Stop trying to play victim. We all tried to help you through this as well. You only got exposed when we realized that this is more than just you being ignorant and stupid on this topic. The more you talked in these VCs, the more you kept engaging in degenerate behavior, the more you defended pedos and engaged in borderline pedo activities, the more you just exposed who you truly are. Hence why you got cut off.
Anyway, the YouTuber who likes to pretend to be the moral police in question is none other than the biggest response video slop maniac, SK.
Keep in mind that in the image that Ultimate Joker shows on screen, SK has 19,000 subscribers. SK had around 21,000 subscribers back in January, and this ultimately proves that Ultimate Joker had no intention of letting any of this go. He had this shit on standby, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. You are a snake in the grass and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Who, as you can see here, excused James Gunn for hosting pedophile-themed parties by saying that everything he did is fine now because Gunn apologized. Only after Resikin and I called him out on his disgusting behavior.
It's like you take pride in selective reading. If you look at the message, I open with, "Nobody said what James Gunn did is okay."
Did you read it?
You can acknowledge someone's apology while believing what they did was wrong. I mean, isn't that the point of an apology after all?
You can catch him saying this in a video response to us when Resikin and I interviewed a Discord member of theirs called KinoFlex, who claimed Colin and SK used real CSAM with blurred faces to lure in PDF file.
You mean like Arachnid Youth, the person you defend? He used child pornographical material as the intro to a fucking action figure review. Are you gonna hold that same energy with him? But also, once again, fact check your sources, because if we look at what KinoFlex says now, he openly admitted in an interview with SK that he was wrong in that video about SK and Colin, and hilariously enough, he even implies that Arachnid Youth has spiraled even further into degeneracy. Defending, normalizing, and sexualizing children in artwork wasn't enough for Arachnid Youth. Apparently he's gotten even worse.
Alright, what's up, Jack? Say hi to the camera. Or KinoFlex.
Hey guys, what's up? Hey guys, what's up?
So just wanted to ask real quick. So you remember the Ultimate Joker video where like you had like a part in it and you were like saying stuff about, you know, Colin and I about the whole arachnid you thing, right?
Yeah.
Just to, you know, confirm, I know we've talked about this many times, but I would like the audience to make sure they're caught up. You don't stand by what was said in that video, right?
Yeah, I no longer do. And if you watch the stream, like we pretty much sorted everything out. Like between us, we both acknowledge that Colin is an asshole. And we kind of just put our bad blood behind us. And
yeah.
I found out afterwards that Arachnid Youth did some other stuff that caused him to be alienated from his own community. So I decided to stop defending him because I didn't get the full picture.
Gotcha.
And I also just thought that it really wasn't a hill worth dying on.
Okay, yeah, that's good to hear. Another thing. Check out his Ironheart series where he responds to some certain defenses that are made, because they're pretty entertaining videos, so I would recommend watching.
Lastly, we have Gollum Grift, I mean the Gaming Rift, who excused James Gunn's acts like his parties and tweets about touching kids, and saw the drawings as worse for some reason.
Nowhere in that screenshot is any evidence of me defending James Gunn. That screenshot is directly in response to me debunking your terrible justifications for allowing Arachnid Youth to stay in your Discord server, claiming that, oh, it's perfectly okay, he has a legal of age girlfriend, or, oh, it's okay guys, he has no court case against him, when in reality you know that that is a flimsy defense. I even outlined an example in the second screenshot on the right. And you highlight the part where I say it's a case of separating the art from the artist, as if that incriminates me or makes me look bad in any way at all. When criticizing a piece of media, I have no obligation to talk about the person who made the media. That's stupid. If you want to make content around the people who make these films and what they get up to in their spare time, go right ahead, I'm not stopping you. All we are here to do is to make videos on the topics that we want to talk about, and that is no indication that we agree with what these people get up to in their spare time. And hilariously enough, you don't even have a counter-argument to the point I made.
Said separate the art from the artist, which is a statement I guess, but if you can say that for James Gunn of all people who has next to no rivals in bad celebrity track records, other than Diddy, then you have no right trying to morally cancel another person if James Gunn is fine with you.
That's a false equivalency because I have no personal connection to James Gunn. I do, however, have a connection to you, unfortunately, because you're the one person in this community that no one likes, but we can't get rid of. Especially if you were the one who aggravated this situation, which you were. The rest of us had moved on. You, on the other hand, had community posts and screenshots on standby for literal months, waiting for the perfect time to strike. And if people making a response video to you counts as us attacking you, then I encourage you to get the fuck off the internet and grow thicker skin, because that's life, my guy. No one's obligated to agree with anything you say. But even if we go along with your messed up logic, you're the same person who shills for James Franco's Harry Osborn, even though the actor himself is literally guilty of sexual misconduct. And also, you're a self-admitted Snyder fanboy, as outlined in these community posts. And guess what, champ? Zack Snyder is best friends with James Gunn, so by your own logic, you shill for a guy who is best friends with someone that you claim to be a pedophile. Case closed. And this is all the more ironic because James Gunn, despite all the things that he's done, at the very least he tried to apologize, move on, and become better as a person. And evidently he's made progress since he has quite a lot of defenders, including the Superman and the Guardians of the Galaxy cast. Whereas Ultimate Joker has apologized for literally none of the things that we are accusing him of. He spat in our face when we tried making things right 9 months ago and moving on from the drama. He has inconsistent standards, since he hates James Gunn for his past tweets, yet he's perfectly okay with all of the sexual stuff he does. He hates James Gunn for his comment about Indians, even though what he said is infinitely worse. He hates the fact that James Gunn recommended a rated R show, even though Ultimate Joker has sexual art in his thumbnails. He thinks that James Gunn's actions are worse than Arachnid Youth's because they can have an effect on real life, yet he is best friends with Rezakin and has him as his moderator, despite the fact that Rezakin made a sexual assault joke to me and my friends. He hates James Gunn for hosting those certain types of parties, even though he is all too willing to jump through hoops to allow Arachnid Youth to stay in his Discord server. Whenever people make a response video to him, he cries crocodile tears and accuses them of being terminally online. At the end of the day, this guy has embarrassed himself at any point in turn, and there will never ever be an end to this drama. We tried ending it 9 months ago and it didn't end, so who's to say that it's ever truly going to end? At the end of the day, it probably won't. But don't worry, because I can tell you firsthand what's gonna happen if you ever try this again.
I'll be back.